As I make this recording, Raila Odinga is at a retreat for Ruto government cabinet secretaries, and many Kenyans are asking, why? What is he doing there? What is his role in government? Now, before we go any further, I don't want to confuse regulars on this channel who took in my immediate previous video, where we said that ODM, Raila Odinga's party, are due to exit the broad-based government at any time. And here we are the very next day, as if to completely contradict what we said yesterday. Raila Odinga is attending a broad-based cabinet secretaries retreat. Actually, it is not a contradiction. Indeed, Raila Odinga attending the retreat may be a confirmation of what we're going to talk about on my show today. And that is, as I promised, remote-controlled Raila Odinga. I am sure we're all aware of the major grumbling within the ODM party from people like Chair Gladys Wanga, the Homa Bay governor, from people like Otiende Amolo, who has been a very firm supporter of the broad-based government, etc., etc. I'm sure we're all aware of that. And let us remember that all along, ODM party has been a very unified party. Why? Because the leading lights in the party never ever issue a statement, never say anything without consulting Raila. Okay? And so I'm strongly suggesting that instead of being confused, instead of saying to yourself, what is Chris saying? Please acknowledge the complex nature of human life, the complex nature of politics, and the very complex situation here. And I'm sure I'm going to convince you shortly. Now, I know most of us are very curious by nature, okay? And so let me tell you in one sentence what is going on here. You will remember I said that it's going to be messy. In a nutshell, the withdrawal from the broad-based government will also mean a split of the ODM party. Okay, just hold on to that. We'll come back to that when we fully understand and grasp this Raila Odinga manenos. Now, I need to inform you that already I'm wearing a crash helmet because the projectiles, stones, etc., etc., are already flying towards me at high speed. I can hear very clearly those who love Raila, have always loved Raila, telling me, Chris, what is wrong with you? How can Raila Odinga be remote controlled? What are you talking about? Who has paid you? Etc., etc. And so, let's get down to it right away. In 2018, I did a video revealing the dodgy nature of Raila's health. Hey, the backlash I received, let me confess today, the backlash I received actually made me to Lisa Boli. It was major. But my information was spot on. I was sure about that. And so I want us to start by understanding that Raila's true state of health has been a very closely guarded secret of those close to him. I mean, the people who have been guarding this secret have been prepared to do anything to keep it away from the public. And it is understandable, because for somebody who is larger than life, who was larger than life than Raila Odinga, the man, it was very important to keep the public in the dark so that the Raila Odinga people have always known continues to reign. But let us look at the facts. Let us face reality. Raila Odinga is 80 years old, and he has gone through a lot, including stints in detention, which left him with permanent issues. For instance, that fracture, I believe on his left leg, that never healed properly. The problem with his left eye, etc., etc. Yes, let us look at what is already in the public domain before we even go deeper. And also let us ask ourselves, ordinarily, how does an 80-year-old man behave? What are the common challenges facing 80-year-olds? Okay, let alone an 80-year-old man who has gone through what Raila has gone through. Please, let us not pretend Raila is 70 years old. Don't. Now, for us to fully understand the political situation, related to Raila Odinga and the ODM party and the politics today, I believe it is more than useful to go a little back in history and look at the super fascinating story of Jomo Kenyatta, Kenya's first president. In case you didn't know, the people who ran government from the early 70s to the time Jomo Kenyatta left us were those who were very close to him, starting with First Lady Mama Ngina Kenyatta, very powerful, and a man called Mbiu Koinange. Jomo Kenyatta's health was very, very dodgy. Let me give you a quick example to illustrate this. Recently released classified documents of the government of Kenya have revealed that Jomo Kenyatta collapsed while taking lunch in May 1968 and went into a coma that lasted almost a week. Now, that incident happened on a Friday, but the people who matter in the country were not informed until, wait for this one, until Monday. The head of the intelligence got the information on Monday. The AG, Attorney General, got the information on Monday. And even then, that information remained within a very tight, small circle of people close to Jomo Kenyatta. And please don't forget, this did not happen in the 70s. It happened in 1968. May 1968. 60s. You know, years ago, I received some crazy information that actually Jomo Kenyatta's signature was forged on some important government documents, where he supposedly made important government decisions. You know, a president makes a decision and then they sign a document. That's how it works. Please don't be too surprised. This is what always happens when you have a figure that is bigger than life, and there are some people surrounding this person who want to continue to benefit, who want to continue with a good life, that they can only continue as long as that person who's bigger than life remains in power or remains in their position. And the public believes that they still have all their faculties functioning and that they're actually functioning as normal. Okay? In fact, I belong to the group of analysts who are convinced Jomo Kenyatta did not pass on at State House, Mombasa, but in fact passed on under a mango tree in Kwale, Msambweni, while being entertained by traditional dancers. Okay? Anyway, let us come back to the present. Those who are super observant will already know that on many interviews, Raila Odinga has had some assistance. You know, modern technology is amazing. All you need is an earpiece. And somebody somewhere listening to the questions you're being asked can easily assist you. That is acceptable. It's not a big deal. And then there is the incident in Addis Ababa, when campaigns were ongoing, led by President Ruto, for Raila to get the AU job. Many of us will remember, in a clip that was widely distributed, as Raila Odinga came out with Ruto one morning and were being told they had not slept the whole night. Did you observe Baba carefully? He appeared confused. In fact, Ruto had to walk back and guide him. I'm sure you remember that clip. Bottom line, Raila Odinga is not himself. This is not the Raila Odinga of the 90s. This is not the Raila Odinga who led an amazing presidential campaign in the year 2017. No, this is a very different Raila Odinga. Okay? Aging is normal, and the challenges that come with it are also normal. And I would not advise anybody to approach this issue with denial. Yeah, because your denial contradicts the facts on the ground and what we know about the human body, even if you don't have any other information. Now, in acknowledging the fact that not all of us have been at close quarters with elderly people, you need the following information. You see, what usually happens is that there is a lot of inconsistency. They can be very sharp, very okay 1 minute, and then the next minute they have totally lost it. That's how it goes. But the biggest question we have to answer here, which will surprise most, is a simple one. Who makes the decisions for Raila these days? The way those decisions used to be made for Jomo Kenyatta at State House during his presidency, when he was in a coma, when he was not aware. Who makes these decisions for Raila Odinga? Now, I will give you a minute or so to digest the information that I've already given you, and I will be back after this brief, super fascinating message. You know, despite the very difficult times we're passing through, life must continue. And you must continue to do the things you must do. And sometimes, those things you need to do may include getting a message across to the right people, and doing so with the limited or no finances. The truth is, this channel has proved to be very effective in doing that to people who sponsor videos. There's actually somebody who had quite a budget, and you know what they did? They went round to many channels, sponsoring shows in an effort to get their message across. And out of all the channels, guess which one was the most effective? And guess which one they have stuck to date? I am certain that regulars on this channel know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm also sure many of you on this channel who are listening in today, who have used this channel, have been very pleasantly surprised with the results. And it is mainly because of the faithful audience we have here and how super engaged they are with each and every show. And so today, I want to boost and empower those looking to engage with this very unique audience. And I want to do that with an amazing preposition. You see, it is always most effective when there's repetition in that message. And so strictly for the next 48 hours only, you have a unique opportunity to book that spot at the very special price of only Kenya shillings 9,999, which will give you 3 sponsorship slots. 3. Amazing offer. You can see details on your screens right now. Just shoot me an email or simply text me on that telephone number and I will follow up and do the rest. I highly recommend that you ensure you beat that deadline to book your slot. Obviously there are very few slots, so please hurry. I'm sure this will help those of us who are eager to sponsor and get a message across, but they have no budget. I sincerely believe that is a very good deal to take full advantage of, in case you're facing that kind of challenge. Right! Now the biggest decision makers on behalf of Raila Odinga at the moment are his wife, Mama Ida Odinga, and of course the Kisumu governor, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. Okay? According to my information, those are the 2 major, most influential decision makers around Raila Odinga's close circle. You know, there is an African proverb that a good dancer must know when to exit the stage. I'm sure most of us have heard that one, because this is so critical that a good dance can be spoiled when the dancer remains on stage for too long. He'll bore the audience. Or if the dancer exits too early, then people will not have gotten a chance to see the true potential and all the moves of that particular dancer. In my opinion, Raila Odinga would have retired from politics with his legacy intact in the year 2017 after those elections. Now I know there was a lot of manenos after those elections. There was a lot of trouble in the country before finally the handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta came in. But still, a dancer must know the right time to exit the stage. Otherwise, it is very easy to completely mess up your legacy. You see, in this life, it is a marathon. And what matters terribly is how you finish your race. That is terribly important. Okay? For instance, you could start a race very badly. You're right behind the pack and you're doing badly and you're sweating and you're breathing heavily. However, the finish, how you finish that race, you could easily end up being the winner. If you're determined enough and you decide, fine, things have gone wrong, but I will focus on the finish. And you can catch up and you can win the race. And nobody will remember that you had a terrible start. That is exactly how life is. And it is very sad that Raila Odinga, who has done so much for the country called Kenya, apparently did not know when to exit the stage. And the result is this mess, which will shortly lead to a situation where the ODM party, most of it, will exit the broad-based government and leave one of Kenya's oldest political parties very divided, damaged, in shambles. It is so very sad. And so, my friends, that is what I meant in an earlier video when I referred to Raila as remote-controlled Raila. I am well aware of the fact that this will be a very controversial video. I'm well aware of the fact that many people will not agree with me. Many people rubbish what I'm saying. But then, as always, time will tell. Now, very quickly before I go, we have an offer for the last 48 hours of my most sensitive special report ever produced. Strictly for the next 48 hours. You can be able to get it, as well as all past videos, for the very special price of only Kenya shillings 1,999. You can see details on your screens right now. Please act quickly. There will be absolutely no extensions. Okay, this is a last minute chance, especially considering how times are hard and many people want this information. Therefore, take full advantage of it and go for it. This special report is like no other I've ever produced. And those who have taken it in say exactly that. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.